extension to you.
Yeah.
And you're a mom. Yes, that's another title that you're carrying. But the truth is, you know, you can get dressed. I remember me and my best friend talking about this. Like, we need to get dressed and go out.
Yeah.
You know, like, so sometimes with the Moms Club, it's not all about hanging with the kids. Like, we literally will just go out, just us, you know? And so, and we have connected so fast. It's just amazing. Because you would think like a group of girls, no, that sounds messy.
Yeah, no.
But I don't know if it's a mom's thing, but I have not experienced any cattiness, nothing. We have gelled instantaneously and, you know, it's been very easy. So...
That's amazing.
I don't even think I answered your question.
No, it's okay. You did.
Single mom.
Yes. What advice would you give to them?
I think just continue to get dressed, continue to fix your hair, continue to look for outfits. I mean, I'm just saying small things, right?
Yeah.
Continue to...
But they boost your confidence. And
reinvent yourself.
Like,
yes. Just don't lose yourself in the process of being yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Excellent advice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't think of. Was there something and this could be our last question, was there something you always wanted to do and didn't? And now can you see yourself saying, okay, I'm going to do that? Because we're in a pancake.
Yeah, I know.
Pandemic.
A panorama. So many things.
And it's 2021 and this is what we do it.
I know, right? Something I wanted to do but didn't think I could do? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
With these great questions. Wow. I would have to say, wow. I would have to say, so I guess I'm about to tell everybody my goals that I haven't done yet, but it's in the works.
That means they're going to hold you accountable.
Exactly. So
all of those people out there is April's accountability.
Yes. So ultimately, I have an idea for a show that I really want to accomplish.
Let's go.
A docu-style show, though. Something where I think we don't get to... So what you're doing right here, when I saw one of your first shows, I was like, oh my goodness, yes. And your guests were spot on. You were picking the right people because I truly believe we have people who we have not heard from.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that frustrated me with news. We interview these politicians every day. No shade, because I've been there and that was my job. That's fine. I don't mind. Yeah. But it's like there are so many people on this island that are doing so many things. And we don't hear their stories.
Right.
And so I wanted to do a more in-depth kind of thing where not just we sit down, but where we can go into the life of, where we can kind of explore. Like I wanted to find out what happened to Bahama and find out like their legacy that still was not told, their story that still was not, you know, they did so much.
Yeah.
They held us up and what happened? We don't even know. And there are so much more stories like that I think I want to be able to do. So I still want to be in the same business of storytelling. I'm not going to go far from that. So when you ask me, well, you know, what do you want to do and what did you think you couldn't do? And that I held that on my list for a long time. Because I think even like you, I'm sure before you did this, you went through all the negative thoughts and you probably thought, I don't know who's gonna watch, you know.
Right, and what makes you think you're qualified to do this?
To do it.
Which is a question other people may ask. What makes her think did she?
Okay.
She went to school for journalism and PR. Well, journalism and mass communication? No, but God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called.
Oh, okay. Exactly. Okay, exactly.
No, but like on a serious note, like there are things that you, and COVID showed us anything. It's like, no, you don't need to sit in that boardroom for that meeting. That could have been an email. No, you don't need to be in person. You could call.
Isn't it crazy?
Like,
isn't it crazy
so
what we were doing before, running around, and now
like a chicken without a head.
Yes,
especially moms.
Yes, and now it's like. We had the option to do this all along, but we had to be forced to.
Yeah, and like, okay, I worked in news. I'm not sure I want to do that anymore. Let me pivot. And, this job isn't the end of it. No, I can do something else and do it well.
Tell my story.
And now, right? And like, no, so you mean I could create a docuseries and call it, I don't know, Apryl Sands?
Yes.
docuseries.
And the truth is, when the negative thoughts come, the best thing to say to yourself is, "So what? If you fail, God forbid you fail. And
fail.
So what?
Fail fast. Fail fast.
Okay,
and keep it moving.
You did it.
Yeah.
And now it's over.
Yeah.
If you decide to take it that way, but you did it though.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest though, it doesn't even end up working out like that. What ends up happening is you did it, and people are like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Because I think when you do feel passionate about something, I remember someone saying this. I don't know who it was. Someone said, "If you have a dream, and it never goes away." Then that means something else is calling you towards doing that. It's beyond you, really. So even though you think this is just an idea that you have, the fact that it's not leaving you, the fact that it's been years, months, and you're still dreaming, you still feel compelled, then that means you probably need to do it, because something somewhere is waiting on that to happen.
Correct. Like somebody's waiting for you to tell your story. Like somebody's waiting to hear the story.
Yes.
And you just
thank you, because someone needed you to do this first for me to tell my story. So look how all that worked.
I mean, it's like the universe.
And it's amazing how if you sit on yourself, then you stop everything. But you won't know that though.
No.
But you stopped everything from happening.
Yeah.
Because you paused your story. So now someone else's story can't be told, and someone else's, it's just, but we don't know that. But if you thought about that, then you'd understand, you need to be working fast.
Correct.
You need to actually be working on that right now.
Yeah, so connect these dots so we can have this docuseries.
I preach to myself.
Right. I'm talking to myself. But yeah, let's get this docuseries. So we are looking forward to this docuseries from Apryl Sands, the one and only. Thank you so much for coming on to the session.
Yes.
I'm so glad we got to sit down and chit chat. I'm sure everybody. How long has it been since you were off news?
Off news. It's been a year or some change. And I remember someone tweeted, "So they ain't bringing Apryl back to the news then." I was like, oh my goodness. But nope, I left. I'm happy where I am now. Yeah, still here in front of the camera,
still
but doing other things.
Look at God.
Okay.
And look out for her.
Yes.
She's coming to a camera near you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Look out, guys, for the session. It's going to air in April.
Look at that.
Right? No pun intended. So it'll air, and when it does, feel free to like, comment, share. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Apryl.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Hey, guys, you made it to the end of our video. If you'd like to reach out, email us at letschat@TanyaWilliamsLightbourne.com. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more exciting sessions. Cheers.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's State.
Coming up in the news, the Grand Bahama Port Authority hearing the concerns of the business community. Also, the mother of a student who was reportedly attacked at school is calling for justice. And the latest repatriation in recent time taking place on Grand Bahama today. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Jamila Mizik. Thank you so much for tuning in. As promised, a group of business leaders holding discussions today with the executives of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. This meeting coming after the group led a protest downtown Freeport on March 4th, questioning the relevance of the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the state of the local economy. Business leaders were asked to provide a list of concerns for today's meeting, and they did. It was all smiles after what they say was an intense meeting between the Grand Bahama Port Authority and local business community. That meeting happening right here at the Sir Charles Haywood Yacht Club. The Grand Bahama Port Authority meeting with a group of concerned citizens about various matters related to Grand Bahama's economy. Now, this meeting coming on the heels of the Let's Take a Stand march earlier this month, where a document was presented to the Grand Bahama Port Authority listing a number of concerns. Businessman Darren Cooper, who spearheaded that protest, says today's meeting is a step in the right direction for the residents and business owners in Grand Bahama.
We have been able to touch the letter, but we have gotten commitment that what is in the letter is going to come back to us in a written form, and so we are very grateful for where we are today. We want to say to the residents of Grand Bahama that we are going to continue to keep their feet to the fire, but we are also saying to the government of the Bahamas to be on the guard and to also be on the lookout for the letter that we're sending in. And we think that this is the start of something new, but we are now going to be that body that's going to mend the relationship between the port and the government to make sure that both stakeholders work feverishly on behalf of the residents.
Some of the questions posed today included the state of the International Bazaar, derelict buildings and vehicles, the state of the International Airport, the lack of new investments directly generated by the GBPA, and the lack of transparency of business operations, among other issues. Cooper says they were able to discuss some of the concerns addressed in the letter.
A lot of concerns with licensees, a lot of things that continue to go unchecked, a lot of stuff the port was not aware of, some things that they are aware of, and I think that in itself, being able to address a lot of our licensees' concerns, a lot of illegal operators, and the list of things as relates to licensees. We're headed somewhere with that, and hopefully we'll be able to get some resolute to it.
All in all, Cooper says they are pleased about where they are in the conversation.
There are some things that we did not agree with. There are some things that we raised, and they've committed to look into it. They have also provided legitimate response to it that we believe is workable. But in our response, there's still more to be done, and we are expecting more to be done. And so we left out of here with an understanding that we will work together. We've also pulled on the executives to get out of their comfort office and to be able to hit the ground and to begin to hear some of the frustrations of other business owners who may feel intimidated or may not want to step forward in coming out. And so we hope to see that happen.
President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, says that meeting proved to be fruitful.
It's something that the Port Authority has committed to do more of and has been requested of us. And so we will rise to the occasion in regards to the request. And we promise the community to have more of these types of meetings. It was very, very fruitful. There are matters that came to our attention that we were not aware of. There were things that we are currently doing that the group were not aware of. And I think that all of us have agreed to work closely together to make Grand Bahama a better place.
Now, the Grand Bahama Port Authority is expected to produce a written response to those concerns within a 30-day period. Now, following today's meeting with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, resident C. Allen Johnson called on Grand Bahamians to work together for the great good of the island.
We do believe there's nothing for you without you. So even as the Grand Bahama Port Authority goes out and they're listening, we as a collective will also begin to engage so we can get a wider perspective of Freeport and Grand Bahama as a whole, considering that the Grand Bahama Port Authority has responsibility for Freeport, but the government of the Bahamas has responsibility for Grand Bahama. And we think there's some sort of synergy that must occur in what we have to do as a collective to bring resolve to the issue that's facing all of us.
Former Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine, noting that the meeting brought some degree of hope.
We recognize the condition that Grand Bahama is in, and we recognize that there are a lot of hurting people out there. But what we're sensing today, and which we've hit home to the port, is that there is a need for compassion. And today I believe they understood what exactly is needed in terms of showing compassion to the community and this particular island.
Members of the Free National Movement also making a courtesy call to executives of the Grand Bahama Port Authority today. As we hear in this report, officials sought to get an update on the investment initiatives discussed under the Minutes administration, in addition to any other investment projects that are in the pipeline. Ramiko Knoll spoke with the F&M leader following the discussions.
A delegation of members from the Free National Movement meeting with executives of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. The meeting comes on the heels of a demonstration that took place on Grand Bahama on March 4th, where residents took to the streets in a protest against the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Opposition leader, the Honorable Michael Pintard, says it was the latest stop with major stakeholders on the island.
Today we wanted to raise several issues. One, we wanted to fully understand the rationale behind the electricity hike approval, and we had an opportunity to have an extensive discussion on that particular subject. When in government, we worked diligently on the environmental bylaws that affect the development of this industrial center and wanted to understand from the Port Authority's standpoint what was the status of the environmental bylaws.
Pintard says it is important for opposition members to be fully integrated with discussions so they can contribute ideas.
We gave our commitment that we intend to work with them diligently. We fully expect that they are going to engage us. Their discussions with central government, independent of the members of parliament, will not be acceptable. And we made that very clear, that on environmental issues, on business development issues, whether you're dealing with the hospital or the airport, we expect to be at the table.
Now we asked the opposition leader for a response to the recent protest and claims of lack of investor confidence in Grand Bahama, as well as charges made against the F&M. Some residents claim that over the past 4 years, the island of Grand Bahama has had 5 F&M members of parliament, and very little was done to promote Grand Bahama as a destination for investors. But Pintard says the last thing any leader should do is highlight one of the 1,000 comments on the state of Grand Bahama.
As far as we're concerned, it is important for the government, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the industrials, all to project the upside of doing business in Grand Bahama and to share that positive message with the international community. And so when we speak to Bahamians as members of the Free National Movement, we are going to highlight the opportunities that exist and encourage persons to come here and do business.
Pintard says the F&M is now under new leadership and he intends to fill the gaps that exist.
And where there are impediments for local as well as international persons to invest, we are going to attempt to remove those impediments. That's what our focus is.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Breaking news tonight, a close call for one local hotel as fire officials were called to a scene where a unit undergoing renovations caught a fire. Inspector Ellie Arisker of Fire Services says firefighters responded shortly after receiving the call that there was a blaze at Island Seas Resort.
Around 4:12 today's date, we received information of a fire at the Island Seas Resort. As a result, we would have dispatched 2 Delta units to the Island Seas Resort located in the Williamstown area. On arrival, fire personnel would have met smoke emanating from Unit 217, which is located on the 2nd floor of a 3-story single-stone structure. As a result, the fire officers would have extinguished that fire and confined it to that room unit. On completion of extinguishment, the room would have received extensive fire and heat damages as a result of that fire. At this time, we're still in our preliminary investigations, so we cannot say definitely what was the cause of the fire. The investigation is ongoing at this time.
Now, the good news is no one was hurt in this fire and investigations are ongoing. In other news, the Grand Bahama Power Company hosting a special forum at the Pelican Bay Resort this morning to engage with business leaders on the island. The meeting comes 2 weeks ahead of the increase in electricity rates, which takes effect on April 1st. Chief Operating Officer at Grand Bahama Power, Nikita Mulling, says it's important for GBPC to connect with its customers as part of the company's education campaign.
We know that small businesses, we do want them to be able to succeed in this community. We know that there are a number of businesses that have raised concerns around the rates, understanding the why, understanding why now, and wanting to understand how it impacts them. And so what we are committed to doing is ensuring that we educate them that, yes, there is a rate increase, but there are ways that we can work together to support them to better be able to manage their energy efficiency, which then in turn impacts the way that their rates are reflected on their bills.
Vice President of Operations at GBPC, Tony Seymour, says they are working diligently to ensure that customers' concerns are addressed.
From an operations standpoint, the concern basically is power quality, any outages, damage claims, that sort of thing. So we're just here to let them know that we want to hear from them, we want to hear their concerns, and we're going to work diligently and partner with them to ensure that their needs are adequately met.
In other news, the mother of the Jack Hayward High student who was reportedly attacked at school yesterday is speaking out tonight. She is calling for quick action because she says her injured son is living in fear. Our newest addition to our ZNS News team, Azure Quant, gives us the story.
A 12th grade student spending the night in hospital after being struck in the head by an object from another student here at Jack Hayward Senior High School. Tonight, a mother candidly speaking to ZNS News team, asking for officials to look deeply into gang activity here at the school. Maxine Knowles, mother of the injured student, says her son never had a seizure before, and when she first learned of the incident, she thought her world had come to an end.
So I was very upset. I didn't know what to do. It's just like the world was done in. So I try to calm myself down, be strong, and how patient to be strong for him.
She says her son is now in fear for his life as his attackers are alleged to be gang members.
Find out who these kids is, who this gang in the school, because it could happen to anybody's children. It could have been worse than what it is. It could have been a call that my son died. So I asked him, the school, the kids who in the school who was there, to please come forward and let them know who these boys are.
Principal of Jack Hayward Senior High, Bronwyn Smith, confirming that Monday's incident was the first to occur on campus.
We are trying our best to be as safe as possible. We solicit every parent's help and support because a lot of the incidents, this is the first one is actually happening on the campus yesterday. But a lot of times after school is when they seem to try to settle their differences out on the streets. And so we just need every parent, every guardian to work with us, work with their children, communicate with them, because we need to work together, because this problem is not going to be resolved on our own. The school cannot resolve everything on its own.
Now the mother is asking for police and school officials to locate the individual involved in this incident, noting that her son will not be returning to campus until the matter is resolved. Investigations are ongoing. I'm Azure Quant, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Azure. It is the largest repatriation in recent times. 123 Haitian nationals repatriated to Haiti this morning on board a Bahamas Air chartered flight bound for Port-au-Prince, Haiti. The group of 50 adult males, 34 adult females, and 39 minors were interdicted by the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Harriet Lane near the Keysell Bank this past Friday. They were received on Grand Bahama by the local law enforcement team consisting of Bahamas Immigration Immigration, Bahamas Customs, Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and officers from the Royal Bahamas Police Force at the Lucayan Harbor. According to a statement by the Immigration Department, all COVID-19 protocols were strictly enforced to ensure the health, welfare, and safety of all concerned. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal has upheld the 40-year sentence of Grand's Bahamian Dwayne Belazaire, who was found guilty of killing his godmother, 48-year-old Margaret Smith, on Valentine's Day in 2017. Smith was found dead in a bathtub in her home in Seagrape 8 Mile Rock. Belazaire appealed his sentence, challenging the fairness of his trial and the safety of the conviction, complaining that the judge erred by not leaving manslaughter to the jury as an alternative verdict. After hearing from both sides, the court said it was satisfied with the circumstantial evidence mounted by the prosecution against Belazaire, noting that the jury rejected his alibi and considered the case against him, particularly that his DNA was found under the deceased fingernails, and the scratch marks on his neck and arm. While the panel also took into account the failure of the judge to give a good character direction, it is said it was not satisfied that it would have made a difference to the outcome of the trial. The court also said it didn't have any doubt as to the safety of the verdict or fairness of the trial. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this break.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
Shape Your Crepe is online. Download the app from the Apple or Google Play Store and receive $5 off your first online order. Call 688-4273 for more information.
The port is coming to you. No barriers, no walls. Calling all voices to join us for our quarterly expo, Port Community Talk. You want to hear from us? Here we are. Let's talk about it.
And running in lane number 6, Shawnee Miller.
Every journey starts with the first step, and mine starts here.
So tight. Is she going to get there?
I believed in Tokyo, the belief that I could be, we could be the best. We are drenched in Bahamian pride, no matter where we go. Thank you for believing that we could do it again, bigger and better. In 5 years, Alive built the Bahamas' best network, delivering faster speeds and stronger connections to all 700 islands and keys. Alive believed that every Bahamian deserved a world-class network and excellent customer service. We believe that every Bahamian deserves a network that works in good and bad times. We believed and we delivered. I am proud to be Director of Speed and Connection.
Shawnee Miller Weibo is total class. Look at her go. What a win.
As we continue to improve our lightning-fast, world-class network and connect with art, culture, and the world around us. Never stop dreaming and never stop believing.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate.
of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The ease of COVID-19 restrictions is welcomed news for one Grand Bahama businessman. After being denied twice due to the ongoing pandemic, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has now approved the Dex Adapts concert. Co-founder of Fluid Factory, Clavon Duncombe, says the upcoming event, among others, will be a breath of fresh air for Grand Bahamians.
We always try to bring some entertainment to Grand Bahama. We feel like entertainment is some sort of economy booster for the island that is really needed. And I just love to do it for my home. We've known for the last few years that it would help a lot of persons, more than others, like I said, especially the small man, the small businesses. They would benefit greatly off these events. And I also feel like there's something we should more probably look into rather than just sitting and waiting for the government or the port to assist us.
Duncombe says following Dorian and the pandemic, these events are needed for the social well-being of Grand Bahamians. He says countries around the world have already started hosting such events. Duncombe is thanking the Ministry of Health for giving the approval.
They think it's about maybe us just having an event, but it's way more than that. We actually took the initiative to put our money and our time and effort for something that I feel has a way greater purpose than just a concert. I want to thank the Ministry of Health for giving us approval for the event. Normally, Labor Day weekend is where we do our Grand Bahama Homecoming event anyway, so it kind of fall in line, and it's basically a good thing for us. It's a holiday weekend, and we're just looking forward to the new date.
The Dex Adapts concert is set for the Labor Day weekend. And now to your Tuesday evening sports check with Jay Philippe.
I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. We have quite a few updates as it relates to sports with track and field, even scores from the Bimini Youth Basketball League. But let's start this one off with some good news for prospects, student athletes right here in Grand Bahama. The University of the Bahamas Athletics men's basketball team, along with women's volleyball and men's soccer, is expected to visit Freeport this Saturday looking for talent to join the ranks of the Mingos program. Men's basketball has found several stars from Freeport, and even though looking for some specific qualities in this recruit cycle, head coach Bacchus Rhodes says he's sure there's talent in the North.
We're looking for some size. We're trying to find some big players. You can't teach size. And you can teach everything else, but you can't teach size. So players 6'4", 6'5", and players that love the game. Of course, Grand Bahama is known for his guard play. Very good guard play, very aggressive guards. And so we'll take those as well. But we just want real good, committed basketball players.
Also in sports from the island of Bimini, scores from Week 7 of the Bimini Youth Basketball League at the Gateway Christian Academy Gymnasium. In junior boys play, the Marlins got the win against the Eagles 23-19. With the win, the Marlins win the best of 10 series, 6 games to 1. Now in senior boys action, the Marlins was able to hold off the Eagles to the tune of 48-39. With that win, the Marlins now are up in that series 4 games to 3. And finally in sports and track and field at the collegiate level, Minnesota State Moorhead Junior Chiron Kemp tallied a new school record in the triple jump at the NCAA Division II Indoor Track and Field Championships. Kemp recorded a jump of 52 feet, 4 3/4 inches for a runner-up finish. He bested his own school record of 51 feet 9 inches, which was set earlier this indoor season. Kemp also earned his 3rd career All-American honor. That's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Need to relax comfortably away from home? Experience Bell Channel Inn Resort. Cozy rooms on the waterfront, home of Upstairs on the Bay restaurant. At Bell Channel Inn, here we're family.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Save the date, March 17th through March 21st. Buy 2, get 1 free at Pandora, Port Lucayo. Over 1,000 styles to choose from at Pandora.
Are you looking for a convenient way to have your blood work done? Well, look no further. Phlebotomy on the Go is here to serve you with their professional lab technician in phlebotomy. Call us at 242-533-0659. We're here to serve you.
And then that's it. All right. Yes, I just need a radio and a cloak.
Wait, it's on, wait. Be mindful that criminals are looking for a safe target. We would like to assist you in not becoming a victim of car theft. Do not leave your keys in the ignition of your vehicle unattended. Please ensure that your vehicle is properly locked and secured. In addition, do not park your vehicle in a poorly lit area.
This message is brought to you by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, creating safer communities.
Bad little lady, you should be driving me crazy. When she looking her lips and moving them hips like, come here, baby. I wanna take it down now.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Anton Victor, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We say thank you for your support. And we'd like to say happy birthday to Azaria Colley. We hope you enjoyed your day. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Jamila Mizik. Thank you so much for joining us. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
This week on Journey TV, celebrate the journey of love with world-renowned transformational coach Lisa Nichols and veteran sports reporter Marcellus Hall. Hear their inspiring story of overcoming past failures to find and secure a beautiful forever love. Catch this life-changing story this Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on ZNS. Journey TV, we share life's truths.
Physical distancing isn't the same as being socially distant. I know that sometimes it can be a bit difficult not being able to engage in the in-person social activities that we did before, whether that be going to the movies or just hanging out in person. But remember that different does not mean distant. As the generation of technology, we can get creative in planning virtual parties with friends and family, play online games with friends, plan virtual family parties, start a cooking competition among cousins, or do a virtual dance party. If you do gather in person, however, remember to avoid gathering in large groups. Always ensure that you wear your mask to cover your mouth and nose. And remember, wash and sanitize your hands often.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Tonight, the National Report, a stern warning to those harboring criminals. A sudden death, now a homicide investigation. The health minister on the defensive. And the countdown to Carifta is on. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for joining us. Following a murder-marred weekend and police declaring an all-out turf war, the National Security Minister is this evening issuing a strong public appeal. Cleopatra Murphy leads us off tonight.
Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, is warning members of the public against harboring known criminals, admonishing they are putting their own lives at risk. The warning comes after a particularly deadly weekend in the capital that Acting Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander has attributed to gang wars, also claiming the life of at least one victim that was not the intended target.
If you are in Pinewood, if you are in Camp Road, if you're in Nassau Village, if you're in Garden Hills, and you know you have people around you who are involved in that activity, you need to give them up to the police. Because you never know when the people come for them, whether you may not be killed by mistake, if that is what is happening. And so if this intense period does anything, let it educate the public of the need for what the police has been calling for ages, and that is for you to cooperate with them.
The weekend bloodbath has spurred the fears of residents, also leading to concerns that the gang war could migrate to other communities. The Minister of National Security, however, says the fear of crime is just that, calling on residents to do their part in stomping it out.
The police, I was advised, would have stepped up patrols in the area. Again, the police can patrol and people can watch and come when they pass. And so we must all be vigilant. We must all be careful for our safety. And again, the greatest care you can take for your safety is if you see something, say something.
The presence of illegal firearms continues to contribute to crime in the country, despite the Bahamas not being a producer of these illegal items. Monroe believes despite the efforts of police, many of them make their way onto the streets.
I am encouraged that the minister responsible for social services, I'm told, is about to embark on an exercise to remove derelict cars. I'm encouraged by that because the police discover guns in derelict cars, declare bushes in areas, and again, that is encouraging because people sometimes hide their weapons in these areas.
He again called on members of the public, imploring that if you know someone that has a weapon, turn it and them in. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, speaking of firearms, the number of weapons flooding the streets another primary concern for the police force, an issue of which, as Antoine Smith tells us, they're looking to tackle.
We are on to them.
Law enforcement cracking down on gun traffickers. As crime in the capital escalates, so does the number of shootings. 4 incidents this weekend alone, prompting authorities to take a closer look.
We don't manufacture weapons here in the Bahamas. We don't. They are coming in through the U.S. And our position is to go after the traffickers. And we continue to work closely with our U.S. counterpart. And we are doing just that, and we are getting a number of results. Yes.
The most recent weapons arrest taking place on the island of Bimini. Police recovering assorted magazines, ammunition, and 9 9mm pistols disguised in kids' drink boxes. It's this crafty method smugglers have taken to new lengths. Police releasing cell phone footage of a number of firearms hidden among candy and cereal boxes and concealed inside products and furniture.
A lot of them are coming to the Family Islands, and eventually it ends up into Nassau. However, it comes either by air or even by sea, the mail boats and all of that. So we are looking at those areas to deal with it.
But more than that, police are concerned about a developing trend. Acting Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander calling high-powered firearms the weapons of choice among assailants.
This weapon is capable to enter any wooden house. And that's where we are concerned because in our communities, we are so well knitted. The houses are so close to each other. A bullet has no eye. And when it leaves this weapon, it can end up anywhere.
In 2021, police recovered 277 weapons and more than 3,000 rounds of ammunition. 145 suspects were charged in connection with these seizures. Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
Still on crime news, the death of an elderly mother now ruled a homicide. Acting Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez clues us in on what led to the reclassification and who's being questioned in connection with the crime.
About 2 weeks ago, an 84-year-old lady was pronounced dead, a sudden death. It came in as a sudden death from the eastern area. Some relative called in and said they met their loved one on the floor, alone in the house. And at that time, no visible injuries were seen. But based on information from our pathologists, they discovered that the lady died from some strangulation. And there was some injuries noted to the neck after carefully examining the body by the pathologist, some injuries to the neck. We have the son of that deceased person in custody who is assisting the police at this time.
Now, the acting commissioner also providing an update on the probe into another matter.
There was also a skeleton remain that was found in the well fields just off Carmichael Road. We were able to find some clothing next to the remains. There was an identification in it, clearly an identification. We know the name of the individual, but we can't positively confirm that that is the person. But we are following some leads, and we're going to wait for the autopsy to determine the cause of death with respect to that matter. So we are following that, and we are highlighting that as suspicious for now. But we have the detectives who are on top of that.
Well, meantime, next month will mark 1 year since 6 men were killed in broad daylight on the intersection of Jerome Avenue and Chesapeake Road, and just moments after being released from police custody. Branded the deadliest shooting in police history, the matter remains an open investigation.
I myself spoke directly to the investigators, and we went over file, and they are following some excellent lines of inquiries. And as I said earlier, we continue to build, and we know the fraction of the gangs who continue to commit crime. And we continue to build our evidence, and we are close to that. We are close to that. So I'm happy where the investigators are at this time and bringing successful closure to this matter.
Well, as we reported last week, the Department of Public Prosecutions has dropped its extortion case against former Housing and Environment Minister Kenred Dorset after star witness Jonathan Ash demanded payment for his testimony. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senator the Honorable Ryan Penders, publicly clarified this matter today after it was announced last week that a nolle prosequi has been issued for the 2017 case in which Dorset charged with extorting Ash of some $120,000. Pender confirms the trial was supposed to have started last week.
In preparation for the trial date, the prosecutor in charge of the matter was calling in and interviewing and getting the evidence in line for the trial. At the time he called in the chief witness, Mr. Ash, Mr. Ash had approached him and was seeking remuneration for his testimony. That is not how the DPP functions. That request was immediately denied. Mr. Ash then said he would not give testimony, and therefore, without the witness, there was no case to proceed with. He was rather clear. He wanted money for evidence.
Pender adds that he's unaware of how much money Ash requested since he was not part of the conversation.
As you know, constitutionally, the DPP is an independent institution from the Office of the Attorney General. Therefore, I was not in those negotiations. I was not in those discussions. We were not involved in the preparation for trial. And in fact, if Mr. Ash walked right in front of me, I couldn't even tell you what he looked like.
Well, still to come, hear what the COVID-19 enforcement unit is doing, and the health minister responds to criticism about the updated COVID regulations. We'll be back after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A lot has changed over the past 60 years. But at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family. And together, we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
Since eating at KFC, Trevor became the value hunter. Get a KFC fill-up with one-piece tender, juicy chicken, a hot buttery biscuit, golden brown fries, and a soda for only $5, including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. WhatsApp hi to 557-3663 KFC Nassau. So good.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. If it's healthcare, it's here.
The health minister is tonight hitting back at criticisms that some changes to COVID-19 protocols is simply a matter of bending to the wishes of the hotel sector. Here's Cleopatra Murphy with the story.
Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honourable Dr. Michael Darville, is dismissing claims by the Free National Movement chairman and former Minister of Health, Dr. Apryl Sands, that the new mask guidance allowing for guests in hotel lobbies, corridors, or casinos to go without a mask is discriminatory against other Bahamian businesses. Sands also questioned the data used to inform the changes, querying if COVID-19 behaved differently in hotels.
We don't think it's discriminatory. Our EOC made a decision based on the vaccination rate of visitors in our hotels and the testing requirements that enter the country. One of the things that is so difficult to do what I do is to juggle and balance commerce versus safety. And we believe that even though we said that the mask can be removed, there's no mandatory rule in place that individuals who want to wear masks should not wear masks.
He believes the Bahamas has to balance reviving the economy while also keeping the public safe.
When we look at what's going on in the region, and in order for us not to lose excessive amount of businesses to our competitors, we have to be on the cutting edge, and we have to make decisions that we believe is a combination of safety as well as the promotion of business, particularly our tourism sector.
The Minister of Health says COVID-19 infections have fallen for more than a month now, and he assures the country has the ability to act quickly to deal with any new clusters that may arise.
We're not going to be here shaking in our boots while other Caribbean countries are moving progressively to open up their economies and get other sectors of the economy flowing. I am of the view, as a medical professional, that safety should always be first, but I am also of the view that we have an economy to run and we have a country to run, and we need now to move forward.
He says while the current administration's approach to tackling COVID-19 may not be what Dr. Sands would take, Bahamians at the end of the day need jobs, and government must create those opportunities. While COVID-19 is not over, Dr. Darville says he is pleased at how the country is progressing. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, meantime, the Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association is aware of the government's decision on mask wearing, and not just in hotels. Association President Apryl Sands maintains, though, that several hotels have also relaxed their COVID protocols while complying with the regulations.
There remains pressure from our guests to reduce further restrictions, but we are governed. We are a country of laws, and we are governed by policy and procedures. But we are satisfied in due course that the government will address or hear our concerns with some of the remaining protocols in place and reduce them in due course.
Well, with updated protocols, we take a look tonight at the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit's current operation. As Desmond Saunders tells us, what's paramount on their agenda is the appeal for residents to continue to remain vigilant during the pandemic.
With recent relaxations announced for COVID-19 protocols, some Bahamians are now questioning the role and function of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit established during the height of the pandemic. We spoke to the head of the unit, Assistant Commissioner Zhivago Dames.
The COVID Enforcement Unit roles remains the same, and that is to ensure that business places and members of the public are following the protocols. While the restrictions have been relaxed, there is still the tendency for persons who may wish to not wear a mask in the public, persons who go into business places, there may not be the markers down for persons to know to stand the 3 feet apart. And so the COVID Enforcement Unit is still going around today as we speak, checking business places, ensuring that they are following the protocols as they maneuver through the streets, the assurance that persons are wearing the mask. And so while the restrictions have been relaxed a bit, there are some things that are still to be followed, and that is wearing the mask. And that is for business places to continue to follow those basic protocols, ensuring that sanitizers are in their business places and ensuring that the markers are down for persons to stand at 3 feet apart.
The latest relaxation of COVID rules allows for indoor gatherings to cater to 75% of the occupancy of the private residence or facility, and outdoor gatherings can now cater to 300 attendees. In both cases, all persons must be fully vaccinated or have a negative COVID test in hand. As for concerts, the carnival, fairs, junkanoo, or carnival parades, including practices, you will have to get approval from the Emergency Operations Committee at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Dames is reminding residents to adhere to the protocols in place.
Asking you please to continue to do your best to follow the protocols. And as the Ministry of Health and Wellness has relaxed the rules, we want to say to everyone that you still must be responsible. And where you should be wearing your mask and where you still should be social distancing, we are asking that you do just that.
And while it's still not mandatory, health officials are still encouraging residents to become vaccinated, as it remains the greatest defense against the virus. Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
On the health front, approximately half of the people diagnosed with diabetes aren't even aware they have the non-communicable illness. So says Bahamas Association of Nutrition and Dietetics President Dr. Ida May Hanna. As part of the organization's Nutrition Month activities, they'll host a Zoom session tonight to educate the public on blood sugar levels.
You can go on our Facebook page, Bahamas Association of Nutrition and Dietetics, and come and hear what we have to say, because we're going to tell you the secrets of controlling the blood sugar. And you might say, I don't have diabetes, I don't have to deal with that. But guess what? 50% of the people who have diabetes don't even know they have it. So you need to know how to protect against diabetes, so you need to be on that platform too. And remember, health professionals, if you need to know more about how to help your dialysis patient, we have the virtual platform just for you to teach you how to use the tool that we created for the dialysis patients.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
Every journey starts with the first step, and mine starts here.
lived in Tokyo, the belief that we could be the best. We are drenched in Bahamian pride, no matter where we go. In 5 years, Alive built the Bahamas' best network, delivering faster speeds and stronger connections to all 700 islands and keys. Alive believed that every Bahamian deserved a world-class network and excellent customer service. I am proud to be Director of Speed and Connection.
Shawnee Miller-Weibo is total class. Look at her go. What a win.
As we continue to improve our lightning-fast, world-class network and connect with art, culture, and the world around us, never stop dreaming and never stop believing.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
At Bank of the Bahamas, we give you lots of reasons to love your life. We offer the lowest rates in the country on debt consolidation and consumer loans. And we help you save with our low-rate switch mortgages. Need a new car? Simply apply for a BOB auto loan and hit the road. And shopping is so easy with BOB credit and prepaid cards. It's time to live and laugh again. Love the life you live with BOB, your bank of solutions.
After nearly a year and 4 months of deliberations, 79 applications to comb through and 3 finalists to vet, the Presidential Search Committee has finally named the candidate who will lead the University of the Bahamas. Anthony Smith has the story.
A new president chosen to lead the charge.
The board has selected as the next president Dr. Eric Rowland.
The announcement made Tuesday by University of the Bahamas Chair Allison Maynard Gibson after a more than years-long and sometimes controversial selection process. In the end, however, Maynard Gibson says it came down to the most capable, qualified, and suitable candidate.
We focused on the 3 candidates that were the finalists. We scrupulously examined the qualifications, examined the criteria that had been laid down by the university and community stakeholders, the profile that they wanted to have examined. And at the end of the day, Dr. Rowland was chosen.
The presidential pick comes after months of public criticism. Union of Tertiary Educators of the Bahamas President Danny Thompson previously calling the consideration of yet another foreign president a national disgrace. Out of 3 finalists, only 1 was local.
The president will be a non-Bahamian. We will be making an announcement in days to come about the executive vice president. What I will say is that it is an incorrect statement to assume, or an incorrect assumption, that both the president and the vice president will be non-Bahamian.
Meantime, President-elect Dr. Eric Rowland comes with more than 30 years of experience, a key quality as the university prepares to undergo a, quote, a bold transformation, a top priority for the new regime, international accreditation.
I can't say where we are on the path, but I can say that we actually have now to actually focus on this and set a timeline for it and set a task force or a committee to accomplish it, and that is what we will be doing.
Sitting President Dr. Rodney Smith ends his tenure on July 31st. The following day, August 1st, 2022, Dr. Eric Rollins assumes the position. Antoinette Smith, ZNS Network News.
Well, Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, expects students at Abaco's Patrick J. Bethel High to resume partial face-to-face learning tomorrow. Following a protest by parents last week, she says a number of teachers have been engaged to facilitate learning. The minister, who also recently visited the Sandy Point School, confirmed that a principal has been identified from another jurisdiction.
I met with parents and the community stakeholders when I went there, and we have devised a strategy that will allow for that school to very soon go into face-to-face also. Abaco has multiple challenges, including housing concerns. There was severe damage coming out of Dorian. And then there's this issue of teacher shortages, which is not related. And so we've been trying to address all of those challenges on all fronts. But I am very happy to say that in the case of Patrick J. Bethel, this week, face-to-face begins. And in the case of the Sandy Point School, we hope that during the course over the next few days, they will be regularized also.
Well, after a nearly 3-year closure, the South Beach pools are ready to make a splash. Amajal Knowles has more on its reopening.
It's long been a staple in the South Beach community, but due to wear and tear in a global pandemic, South Beach pools have for years been accessible to the public, but that's about to change. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag, along with South Beach MP and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Bacchus Roll, taking the media on a tour of the refurbished facilities. Mr. Bolag at the time made this announcement.
We were able to now bring the pool up to standard that will allow the residents and the public at large to come and utilize these facilities. That's what these facilities are here for. We open up these pools to the public, to the Aquatics federations and to the high schools. I wanted to be known that I spoke to the Minister of Education, who intends that swimming become a part of their curriculum. And so for the government schools, this is going to be the area where they will come and learn to swim and teach from primary school and up. And it's very important that we learn how to swim, all of us. So,
Mr. Bolag reiterating that in order to use or access the facilities, a call must be made ahead of time to reserve the space.
The pools are open. You know, as soon as for clubs, private persons and those who wants to come here and utilize the pool, we would have someone here as soon as possible before the week out where they can come in and make phone calls and make appointment to use the pool. And you don't just come and use the pool. You're going to have to make appointment so that we can have some organization on who is using the pool at any given time. I know the Swimming Federation has already made it known that they want to advise us when the clubs are going to come by and utilize the pools.
As for complaints from area residents about the distance to and from the pools, Mr. Rose says providing transportation or the possible rerouting of buses is on the table.
One of the things I campaigned on was to probably look at rerouting a busing system for the back, for South Beach itself. And so that's something that we're looking at. We're also, from a community standpoint, we're looking at cleaning down a lot of the bush to ensure that the pool is seen and is seen as a safe place, where families can come and enjoy. We intend to have learn to swim programs along with the ministry. At the same time, water aerobics for the elderly. This is going to be a wonderful time.
For Zenith Network News, I'm Amajal Knowles.
The story of COVID's adverse impact on the education system, well known, but a corporate sponsor has stepped in to ensure students from 3 primary schools here in the capital are better equipped with the resources to learn. Carla Palma has the story.
3 checks, 3 schools, and thousands of students enrolled at each, all Resale Primary, Woodcock Primary, and Yellow Elder Primary schools to benefit. Thanks to entrepreneur, Chief Executive Officer of Electro Telecom, Paul Smith, and his financial donation.
Today marks the convergence of the Ministry of Education and corporate sponsorship. I am particularly pleased that Mr. Paul Smith, one of the leading philanthropists in our country, has committed to supporting the government's effort to provide quality education to its children.
Janice Morse is superintendent for the primary district of Western New Providence.
The pandemic impeded face-to-face learning in schools around the world and in our country. This unfinished learning resulted in a decline in our students' academic performance.
As a response, the donation by Smith will go towards facilitating a 9-week after-school literacy enrichment program at each school.
I always had a attitude or an idea to look after young kids because I realized in my time I didn't have what a young child would want to take them through school and the necessary necessities, okay? And such as lunch, such as uniforms and so forth and so on. You know, I was always one of those kids who always somebody gave a helping hand to. And so, you know, as business got established, I am proud today that I can give back. What we're doing now, we are giving the teachers a stipend to stay behind after school to do what we call evening classes for those students who are falling behind.
The impact of these kind acts of kindness are far-reaching. I am certain that this program will provide the intervention that our students require. We commend Mr. Smith for putting his money where his mouth and heart is.
The after-school programs at the respective schools are expected to begin next week and end in May. At Albrecht Primary School, I'm Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, yesterday marking not only Commonwealth Day, but get this, Guava Duff Day at Aaron Bailey Senior High. It was a special treat for food and nutrition students and special guest, British High Commissioner, Her Excellency Sarah Dixon, Education Minister, the Honourable Glenys Hannah Martin, as well as Education State Minister, the Honourable Zane Lightbourne. The group was tutored by Chef Keshla Smith Clark, who has mastered the traditional mouth-watering sweet treat. And what made the day even more special was this announcement from the British diplomat.
So I think it's really important to remember as well that this year is the Jubilee. There's going to be a Jubilee cookbook, and guess what? One of the recipes that's going to be in it is duff. I think it's pineapple duff rather than guava duff, but I mean, it just goes to show that actually cooking and being involved is something that unites us.
I thank the High Commissioner for seeing this as being such a value, understanding this to be such a valuable expression, because while you're making guava duff, a lot of things are happening right now with this. A lot of dynamics, and I thank you for seeing this. This is very creative, but it is really exemplary of a lot of things, and I thank you for thinking about it and bringing it to R.M. Bailey.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our client. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 for Freeport. Fidelity, we're good for you. We all know how good food makes us feel. It's like the feeling you get on Bay. And at Popeyes, we give you that feeling because we know how to make good food. Our food is the food of joy and the joy of being alive despite hard times. We don't do boring or bland. We are proud and big-hearted and love sharing with you, our fans. We take pride in sharing. We always do it with love. And that's the Popeyes difference that you can taste in every bite.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Avery's has been around from 1992 in an area far away from most things. In 2018, I picked up the mantle. At the onset that I would have taken over, I was connected to Bahamas, and I'm always trying to enhance my Avery's package. And I wanted to expand my customer satisfaction through technology. Everybody comes in and they want to use the Wi-Fi. They want to be able to go live, show off the food and the ambience and the entertainment. So since I've been using the Aero device, my buffering almost went to zero. There's no interruption in that service, which is phenomenal. I would recommend the Aero device to anyone to use it. It works.
The internationally acclaimed sand and sea of the Exumas seeming to lure potential foreign investors to the Bahamas. According to the island's Member of Parliament, the Honourable Chester Cooper, since taking office, an estimated $500 million has already been approved for investments there.
Suffice to say that all of these projects are underway in terms of seeking final environmental approvals. But things are booming in the Exuma Keys in particular, and there's a very, very strong interest, as you would expect, due to the natural beauty and charm of the island of Exuma. So these are exciting times. We want to ensure that we don't just get jobs from these developments, but we are emphasizing that there has to be entrepreneurial opportunities for Bahamians. So this is the new outlook, and we will continue to provide information to the public as we can so that they can prepare themselves.
The Bahamas receiving multiple category nominations for this year's World Travel Awards, the global travel industry's most prestigious awards and recognition initiative. The Bahamas' 9 nominations are for the leading beach, cruise, dive, and honeymoon destination for 2022, along with nominations for the leading honeymoon, luxury, and most romantic destination of the year. The Ministry of Tourism Tourist Board has also been nominated as leading the destination in 2022. Now, if the Bahamas wins any of these categories, the country will have the distinction of achieving one of the highest recognitions in global travel and tourism. Meantime, several Bahamas tourist brands have also been nominated in the awards' airline, resort attractions, and tour operator categories. Voting opened today for the Caribbean and North America and ends on May 3rd. Votes can be cast by travel professionals, media, and tourism consumers. The nominees gaining the most votes in each category will be announced as the 2022 World Travel Awards winner. Once voting is closed, the winners of each category will be invited to attend the red carpet world ceremony on June 14th at Sandals, Montego Bay, Jamaica. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We have a few clouds floating around this evening. Temperature at 77 degrees. Relative humidity 78%. We have south-southeast winds at 13 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,018.7 millibars. That's 30.08 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 75 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Toll Key, Abaco, Marsh Harp, Abaco at 76 degrees. The Berry Island, 78. 76 in Alistown, Bimini. Harbor Island, 79 degrees. Also Rock Sound, Eleuthera at 79 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space at Andros, 78. 79 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. 79 is also in Alistown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, 80 degrees. 80s in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands, Matchetown, and Nagua, 81 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80. And your boating forecast this evening is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Seller. In the Northwest and Central Islands tonight through tomorrow, which is Wednesday, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Your low tide, 107 in the morning, high tide at 7:23 tomorrow morning. In the southeast, Bahamas also through Wednesday, southeasterly flow 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet with a moderate chop. So caution flags will be holding for the southeast Bahamas through Wednesday. And then on Thursday, in the northwestern islands, the winds become suddenly ahead of a weak frontal system, which is approaching our area. We'll tell you more about that later in the newscast. Speeds around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide 8:02 in the morning, low tide at 2:22 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Coming from the island, with that warrior stock, in the
going to do it for you. International temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
When you testify in court, you're expected to tell the truth. Same goes for your insurance application form. You have to answer every question truthfully and provide all the information requested, or you could be found guilty of misrepresentation. That means your insurance company could deny your policy or refuse to pay your claim. Your insurance company relies on the information you provide to determine whether to issue you a policy. Leaving out just one piece of information could lead to misrepresentation. So read your application form carefully. If you're unsure about anything, ask your insurance agent or broker before completing and signing your insurance application form. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your sports on this Tuesday. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. The countdown to RIF 2022 is on. And over in the pools, the Bahamas is looking to further cement its status as the top swimming program in the region, having won 5 of the last 6 years. 242 aiming for an unprecedented 4-peat over in Barbados. And the man atop of the Bahamas Aquatics Federation, speaking to the ZNS Total Sports team, says the Bahamas is looking as strong as ever.
So this year, there's nothing that's going to stop the Bahamas team from winning the Carifta Championships. Our team is very solid. We have a very strong and dominating 15 to 17 years boys category, as well as the girls. And every member of this team has met a qualifying standard. So this speaks not only to the strength of our program, but the commitment of the coaches. And winning Carifta Aquatics is no small feat. I can remember in 2003, when we traveled to Jamaica. That was my first Carifta. I think the Bahamas placed 6th, and that was with a lot of effort. We placed 6th. A couple of years fast forward, we've been able to win Cariftas for 5 of the last 6 years.
Cargill on what he sees as the major factors to the success of the team over the past few years.
No doubt the strength of our parent community. Our parents, they've seen the strength and professionalism of our program, and they bring their kids to not only adopt or learn a life skill, but more so to compete for the Bahamas. Our coaching staff is also very good. Our coaches have become more qualified, and the Federation executives have also become more professional. So it's a combination of the parents, the coaches, the overall Federation, as well as the desire, the burning desire of our swimmers to be a terrific champion. And there's nothing better than hearing a national anthem play in the stadium when you actually win a gold medal.
And despite the many accomplishments during that time frame, he says he's still hoping to see a little more.
Corporate Bahamas has not been very embracing of the hard work of the hundreds of athletes that comprise our program. And we are appealing to Corporate Bahamas to step forward and support these young people. During the pandemic, when they could have stayed home and watched TV or eat or overeat, etc., they chose to use every opportunity to stay fit because they realized that we had a vision back then in 2020 of repeating as Caribbean champions.
And continuing our flag football preview series, we turn our attention now to the ladies' side yet again, where it's time to take a walk on the wild side. The Pirates game Wildcats, the two-time defending women's flag football champions, are out to put their names in some rarefied air in the hopes of becoming the second team in league history to pull off a vaunted three-peat. Her head coach says while the accomplishment will be welcomed, that's not the main goal.
Well, three-peat was done before. The Pink Foxes pulled off a three-peat. So it would be trying to match that. But that's not really the focus. We'll take it one game at a time. One game, and we'll see where it ends up. We're going to work hard, and the ultimate is to finish on top. So without focusing on a three-peat, we'll just try and focus on being successful in every game, and everything else will take care of itself.
From middle linebacker Jade Knowles, she's heard the trash talk and says she's ready to lace up her cleats and get on the field.
As the two-time defending champions, all we do is do it. There's no need for the back and forth. There's no need for the talks, what we come in to do. We show you what we come to do. And if you really want to know, come out and see. We'll face you in the field. We always tell them it's one thing to call out the beast. It's a different thing to face them.
Quarterback Leah Trico says an already vaunted defense is retooled with the addition of some young upcoming talent.
But I think our defense generally is very strong as a team. I think this season even more so. We have some new recruits that are actually very decent, very athletic. You cannot really tell that they don't have the experience. We're working on that, but they are ready to roll. So they've been very well incorporated into our schemes and our team, as well as the chemistry of our team. So we're really happy and looking forward to them performing as well as us, obviously, this season.
And finally, for the Wildcats this year, they are playing with extremely heavy hearts.
Well, honestly, apart from just the defensive side, I have to say the strength of our team this year is because of our coach, Coach Philip Ramming, who passed away last year. So that's honestly the main strength that's carrying this team. Like, everybody wants to win because of him. We're doing this in his name. You know, the fact this is Colon Cancer Month as well, awareness. It's like, it's a purpose.
We lost our leader, Phil Ramming, Munch. Yeah, and, you know, this team is still in the state of mourning in a sense, and football brings back, in a sense, a kind of normalcy, but at the same time, you know, we miss him so much.
Some sailing taking place over in Exuma this weekend as the 4th annual Exuma Sailing Club Regatta happening on Saturday. The Opties and Sunfish hitting the water. Norman Cartwright would win the Opties category. Over in the Sunfish category, Arlington McKenzie would emerge victorious, and One Bahamas, consisting of McKenzie, Di Major, and Emmett Knowles, would win the E-Class division. And that's when we look at sports on this Tuesday. I'll check on weather and we return.
Hoorah! 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 Wildcats on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes! This is ZNS Total Sports.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new
new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Cable Bahamas group of companies is celebrating women in technology. We're taking this opportunity to pause and highlight the leading ladies in information, communication, and technology who are breaking stereotypes and shattering glass ceilings. We hope you'll join us in honoring the tremendous girl power that keeps our community connected.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, elevate.
We are marking International Women's Day once again here at BTC, and we're celebrating in a big way and with some special friends.
I'm happy to be here at BTC's event. One of my favorite corporate citizens here in the Bahamas, rendering so much help, assistance, not only to the NGOs, but to breaking the bias and elevating women at BTC here, and especially with the Marco Alert system that I can't wait for it to be fully implemented in the fight against violence against women, girls, boys, everyone in particular.
BTC is proud of the number of females we have in leadership, but also just our entire workforce. So over 64% of our workforce is actually women in BTC, and that's our strong BTC women driving this business every day. And then when you look at the leadership table, we have a very large complement of my direct staff that sit, reporting into the CEO, that again, 59% of them are women. So we're really proud of that. That's a huge accomplishment for a business that typically is very male dominated. And they're in key roles. They're in technology, they're in legal, they're in customer experience, they're in comms and marketing, and they're also pushing our new products into the market. So really pleased to have that kind of mix of talent, complemented by, the entire organization, which again, predominantly women driving our BTC business on a day-to-day basis.
So let's all continue to do our part to help break the bias. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Piper. Be well and be back here next BTC Connection.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have this front boundary across north-central Florida. That's going to slowly track towards the southern east and could fall stationary over the northwest Bahamas in a couple of days. High pressure, that will slowly slide towards the east, so we will begin to see some relaxation in the winds over the next couple of days as well. Our forecast for tonight, mainly clearer and a little warmer, 72 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny, a bit breezy at first, but those winds will die down in the afternoon with pleasant conditions in the afternoon. High temperature tomorrow, 83 degrees. Your extended weather forecast over the next several days. We're still looking at lots of sunshine during the daytime, despite the fact that that front could stall over the northwest Bahamas. So the daytime temperature, they will remain in the low 80s. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. Before we leave, we want to tell you about a severe disease in the ocean that environmentalists fear, if not contained, poses significant risk to marine habitats. Desmond Saunders tells us more in this week's Nature Watch Environment feature.
It's considered as the underwater COVID pandemic for coral reefs. Executive Director of the Bahamas National Trust, Eric Carey, says if swift measures are not carried out to contain the stony coral tissue disease, the country's multi-billion-dollar fishing industry is in peril.
It's killing a lot of corals, a lot of large, prominent, hard corals. Those are the
corals that make up the reef structure. They are absolutely important to our entire coral reef system, our barrier reef systems, large coral heads, places that are important for fishing, for recreation, for coastal protection. We're facing the death of all of those corals, and then by extension, potentially the death of key industries.
Stony coral tissue loss disease initially appeared off Florida's southeast coast in 2014. It destroys a soft tissue of at least 22 species of reef-building corals, killing them within weeks or months of becoming infected. Carey is adamant that research is now needed to examine the ecological and marine impact of this disease. He also believes relevant stakeholders like fishermen and divers can play a meaningful role in adopting workable solutions to treating it.
But unfortunately, we're still not able to get in the water because we haven't gotten the permits. Now, we did meet with the government last week. We met with the Attorney General, the Director of the Department of Environment and Planning, and the Senior Policy Advisor, Mr. Jerome Fitzgerald. And they have assured us that they are going to move to get permits issued to help us to try and address this issue. So far, those permits have not yet been forthcoming, but we continue to work with the government, with the Department of Environment and Planning, because this thing needs to be looked at. We need to get scientists in the water so they can then talk to fishermen.
Stony coral has been reported in waters around New Providence, Eleuthera, Grand Bahama, the Berry Islands, San Salvador, and most recently Abaco. Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
And before we leave, we want to wish warm birthday greetings to our cameraman, Roscoe. And with that does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night. Have a wonderful birthday, Roscoe.
For as long as we've been a country, these islands have been a favorite for royalty. And for as long as the royals have adored us as a people, we've always been hospitable and gracious hosts. From a colony to a nation, now on the cusp of its golden anniversary, these shores of celebration